There are really two types of people when it comes to growing and scaling a real estate media business. There's type number one who works a ton, is stressed a lot, and grows really slowly. And then there's type number two, which maybe they still work a lot, but they have a lot less stress. They grow a lot more quickly and they make a lot more profit in their business. And so on this video, I want to break down the differences between those two types of owners because I think we all want to be type number two and show you the mistakes I made and the times I was owner number one. And then I'll show you about how the growth came when I was owner number two. And so the truth is that scaling your real estate media business really isn't that hard, but you make it hard. I made it hard at different points in my business. And that's obviously not the thing you want to do. And so I'm going to jump into 5 different things that if you do these 5 things, you will be much more successful. You'll grow your business more quickly. You'll make more money. It will be less stressful. And overall, you're going to be more successful in your business. So jumping straight in with number 1, working harder is not alone the answer to growth. I was doing an event with, it was 10 or so, maybe 11 or 12 real estate media business owners who were doing mostly between $12,000 and $25,000 a month in their business. They flew out to Nashville and we met up. And my biggest piece of advice to all of them in that room was I want them to think about that every time they go to a photo shoot, that's actually costing them money and it's a negative thing. So when you're growing your media business, when you're first starting and you're at $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, even $12,000 a month, you have spent this time trying to get more shoots. And every time you go to a shoot, that's a win because you get paid. And so you've built this mentality of when I go to shoots, that's a good thing. But the problem is when you get to a certain point in your business, doing work like that holds your business back. So when I say working harder is not alone the answer, what you have to pair with that is also working hard or putting that time, that hard work you're doing into the things that actually grow your business. Hard work itself is not all created equal. You need to do the right work. So what I mean by that is you have to find leverage in your business. One of the best ways that you can do this and figure out what the highest leverage thing you can do is come up with an hourly rate, your hourly rate, the actual hourly rate that you get paid right now. So let's say you work 50 hours in a week and last week you made $5,000 in your business. The revenue was $5,000. I want you to use revenue here, not profit, because the things you're doing are creating that. We're going to talk about revenue. So $5,000 and you worked 40 hours. So last week, every hour you worked, didn't matter what you were doing, you were making $125. And so as you start to scale, if you're doing $5,000 in a week, you probably need to bring people on your team. And your job is to know, hey, my hourly rate's $125. And my guess is your goal is you'd like to grow that hourly rate. And so what you have to do is go, what are the things that I do on a weekly basis that I could outsource for less than $125 an hour? And what are things that I do on a weekly basis that are more than $125 an hour? Because those two things create that $125 average. So we want to get rid of the stuff that's below that 125, and we want to add more of the stuff that's above that 125. You're probably thinking, Eli, like, what does that mean? Well, what it means is if you're doing $20K a month, you can for sure hire a photographer to do the shoots for less than $125 an hour. You can probably hire them for about $35 an hour, somewhere in that range. And so what you're going to do is that hour you saved, you're now going to go, hey, what can I replace it with? Well, client acquisition is always going to pay you more than $125 an hour. So you should do more client acquisition, right? And you're going to maybe get away from doing photo delivery in the morning or quality controlling because you can outsource that to a virtual assistant for like $10 an hour. So you're going to start taking all of this stuff off your plate at this point, and you're going to start replacing it with higher leverage stuff. And here's the secret. This doesn't change. The hourly rate just goes up. So maybe at a point, your business is doing $20,000 a week and you're still working 40 hours. If you work more, divide it by the higher number, but it doesn't so much matter. It's just the idea here. Then you're like, well, my hourly rate's worth $500. So what do I do for the business that's worth $500 an hour? And you start to go, well, $200 an hour, it's not worth being the admin for my business. I need to hire an admin. If you're doing $20,000 a week, you need to have an admin, and you need to do higher level brokerage deals and stuff like that. So point number 1 is working harder alone is not the answer to growth. You want to apply leverage and work on the stuff that moves your business forward. It is a trap. And the reason so many real estate photographers get stuck between 15 and 25 grand a month because they just work harder instead of saying, hey, what can I outsource? And what instead should I replace that time with, that higher value task? Moving on to key number 2, which is there is a proper order to do things in your business in. For example, if you're making $6,000 a month, that's not the time to hire a photographer. You want to wait, in my opinion, until you're doing at least $15,000 a month. And if you're struggling to get to $15,000, you need to figure out how to become more efficient to get there. Then, in my opinion, there's a right time to hire an admin. I don't think you should hire an admin first. I think you should hire photographers first. And there's a whole backstory there why. But what I've seen is that the businesses who grow, those business owner type number 2 people who have a peaceful, successful, profitable business, they do things in a certain order. And so my advice to you in point number 2 is find those people and learn from them and watch what they did. I do my best to share everything I know because I was often type number 1, and then I've seen what grows a successful, peaceful business. For example, my business, Norman & Young, I consider to be a very peaceful business. It runs without me because that was a goal that was important with me. It still makes me more than 6 figures a year in profit, despite me spending 0 hours per month in the business, working on the business, doing anything. That was my goal because I wanted to spend time building my business that helps other real estate photographers launch theirs. And so you have to know what your goal is. And my guess is your goal is never going to be a stressful, unprofitable business. It's going to be a peaceful, profitable business. So my whole point of tip number 2 is there's a right order to do things. If you do it wrong, you have a stressful, unprofitable time. If you do it right, you'll have a good time. There just is a right order. Number 3, as you go to scale your business, the people that you hire are key. And the type of people. If you have great people, you build a great team, you'll have a great business. If you build a bad team, you will have a bad business. And I used to just kind of hire anybody. I didn't really have a lot of structure. I didn't interview 10 people to find every hire. I would interview 2 and hire 1. And I set myself up for failure because I didn't always have the most high performing people in my business. And you need high performing people if you're going to scale. When I say high performing, there's nothing against the people that weren't a good fit. They'd probably be a great fit at a different business, but in the current business, they were not great fits. And so they shouldn't have been hired on my team in the first place. And most importantly, I shouldn't have let them stay on the team when I knew that they weren't a good fit and I knew that they weren't high performance people. It's a hard mistake to not make because you will like them and you will not want to hurt them by letting them go. But ultimately, you're keeping them at a job where they're never going to excel and you're hurting your own business in the first place and not being able to build a business that could create more opportunity for yourself, but also for more people who are the right fit down the line. So the people you hire in your business, absolutely key. If you get that right, you'll have an awesome business. You know, the cool thing about hiring the right people is if your business is not set up well and you hire the right people, they help you set it up well. And the opposite is true. If you have a great business and you put the wrong people in it, you know, you have all this structure, it's going to go bad. And so the people are the core of scaling. A lot of people are scared to scale because they're picturing it all going bad. And it does go bad if you don't hire properly, if you don't set expectations well. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong. So the right people are absolutely key. Number 4, the management of those people is really, really important. So building a culture in your business, a good company culture that is in alignment with what you're wanting and is in alignment with what the customers need is a skill, and it's something you have to put time into. And so this doesn't happen to your business. You have to go, hey, I need to focus on being a good manager. Management is a skill, and I need to focus on building good culture, and you need to put effort into doing that. Just being a nice person, it's a good start, but it's not enough. You need to think about how you can manage people properly and build a high performance team. You know, one low-hanging fruit that I recommend everybody do if you have a team member of any kind is at least have a pre-scheduled once-a-week meeting. There's no point in which our businesses have less than a once-a-week meeting with a team. In fact, at Real Estate Photographer Pro, my business that helps other business owners, we have daily meetings with our different teams. Our coaching team we meet with daily. Our enrollment team we meet with daily. We are making sure that we are managing thoughtfully and supporting our teams to the best of our ability. You know, it's really interesting the transition you have to make from when you're doing 15K solo to owning a business that does 100K a month with a team is you go from being a star player to being a good coach, or that's the transition you have to make. And that's a skill. Just because you were a star player does not mean you'll be a good coach. So the whole thing of point number 4 is you need to work on becoming a better manager. Know that it is a position and work to build culture in your business if you want to scale peacefully and profitably. And key number 5, which is, in my opinion, the most important of them all, is you always need to be looking to grow. So one type of growth is just by being consistent with those 4 things we talked about. You're going to learn a lot doing these things and putting consistent effort in to grow. Another type of growth is your personal growth and your ability to become a better operator. You know, if you're an operator of a business and you're not learning from other businesses on a daily basis or from other successful people, you're severely limiting yourself. There's so many good YouTube videos, audiobooks, coaching programs, mentorships, masterminds, communities. Like your biggest focus when you're going to scale your business, really at any stage of your business, if you want to grow the fastest, in my opinion, is to prioritize learning from others instead of your own mistakes as much as humanly possible. First few years of my business, probably the first 5, and arguably at any point you could always do it better, but the first 5 years of my business especially, I felt that my business was different and that there was businesses and there was photography businesses. And so a lot of the advice that I hear from other people didn't apply to mine. And I didn't even go seek out other real estate photographers. The point when my business was just starting, Todd, who's got a great business, he does hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in his real estate media business. I was just starting, he was doing over $100,000 a month, and he was out there. I could have messaged him. Maybe he wouldn't have responded, but I could have tried and I didn't. I felt that every other business was different and there's no one like mine. And that was because I just blinded myself to it. A photo business is like any other business. And there are plenty of other successful ones you can learn from. And so seek out people and seek out knowledge that has been learned through trial and error rather than do that trial and error yourself, because that right there is going to create way more peace, way more profitability. Mistakes cost you peace, and mistakes cost you profit, and trial and error is literally erroring, making mistakes to try to figure things out. And so trial and error is going to happen, but it doesn't mean everything you have to learn is by trial and error. You just don't have enough time in the day. Going back to point number one, if you try to do everything by trial and error, you're just going to work too much on the wrong stuff and never have the business that you want. So here's what you need to know. Having a peaceful and profitable business is totally possible. You just have to really do the things that I just told you. And the secret of these things are, they're not just something that was gifted to me. These are just tried and true things that will help you grow your business. And so be diligent in your consistency of applying them. And it's crazy what can happen in your business. Speaking of crazy what can happen in your business, and speaking of learning from others, that is why I make these videos. I teach in these videos, and then people who resonate with what I say and want to learn more from me, you have the opportunity to talk to my team below. We'd love to work with you one-on-one in our coaching programs and help you take your business to the next level, because what we can help you with is that trial and error, is that speed, avoiding costly mistakes. And so chat with my team. Even if you just have a question about your business, it doesn't just have to be about coaching. Grab a call with them, ask them your questions. I help them, ask them to help you get a roadmap on your business, because even if you don't do that roadmap with us, it still helps to get a roadmap from people who've helped literally hundreds of people grow successful businesses. So check it out. Look forward to talking with you.